Holy mother of craziness. It is officially May 23rd. We are in the final stretch of the month. This is when things get juicy, you guys. We get through that little bit of a dip in the middle of the month, and then the last week of the month is balls to the walls. Time to get those promotions out, time to hit those goals, time to reach out and do all the amazing things that you had planned for May. We're doing the damn thing this week. I am super excited because last week we had a team call that was specifically designed for each of us to share our voice and talk about the ways that we can improve onboarding and getting new presenters up and running. The one thing that I have added into this equation, at least I've been brainstorming all week long. I haven't actually implemented anything, but I've been brainstorming all week long, which counts, is I want to start what I'm going to call the pink party. And every other month, we're going to have a pink party. So it's for all of your presenters that have been in for a month or longer that are ready to run for pink. And it's going to be a 30-day run group to help people get like tips and tricks and kind of like using each other for motivation, because hopefully we'll have several people running for pink at the same time. This is all a spin-off of what corporate has already been driving us to. They've already been hammering in on the importance of getting pink, but more importantly, combining that with the idea of what I've learned from this podcast is that getting early success is a huge indicator for how long you're willing to stay in this business. And hitting pink status gives everyone a lot of confidence and a lot of, sorry, I was drinking beer. Not sexy. A lot of confidence and a lot of motivation to keep pushing through the ups and the downs in this business. And you guys know, because I've talked about it before, this business is very much like a roller coaster. There will be times when you're living off the fat of the cow and it feels like there's abundance and it feels like the whole thing is coming together perfectly. And then there will be times when it's crickets and you feel like you're starving and nobody's reaching out to you, and no matter what post you're posting, nobody's responding. Those are all very normal parts of the ups and the downs in this business. But the sooner we can get someone some success, the sooner we can get them some wins in their pocket, the longer they're going to stay with it through the downs. Okay, so I want to start doing a 30-day pink party. And I'll run them every other month, in addition to our new events that we're going to be creating for our new presenters. So starting in June, I still got a few days. I'm working on it, you guys. I promise I'm working on it. Starting in June, we're going to start our new presenter training, and it's going to be an event in the Glam Squad, and you'll just add all of your new presenters for June. And I don't even mind if you add the May presenters in there too, so that they can get the training. But moving forward, every month there will be an event in the Glam Squad. I'm going to use my post-cron. I'm going to pre-schedule it, and it's just going to run for the month with all of the things that they're going to need. So this way, it's not going to be a learn at your own pace like the other idea that I had last year. This is going to be a month-to-month training for every single new presenter. And they'll have each other as motivation. They'll have other new presenters to kind of network with and maybe start to find sideline sisters for motivation and maybe use each other as pacing partners for the pink challenge. Okay, I'm really excited about this initiative. I think it's going to help our new presenters launch faster. And then the idea is that they roll out of the presenter training every month into the pink party. Doesn't pink party just sound amazing? Doesn't that sound fun? Don't you want to be a part of that? I want to be a part of that, and I'm excited about creating it. And what I want to do in this party is every week do like a shout out for the girls that are like on track, and maybe do like a percentage marker, and really just build some hype around it so that they feel extra motivated to keep going through the lulls. So that's kind of what I've been brainstorming this week. I'm still working on it. That's a lot to do. So if you guys have any content that you want to give to me to help me fill in the pink party, 30 days of posts, 30-day run, or the new presenter onboarding, please feel free to send it to me. I am going to be tapping into a few of my green and blue leaders and ask you to do some training videos for our new presenter training, because hopefully it's your girls that you're adding to this, right? So I'm going to start using some of my leaders, and I'm not going to be the entire face of the team. I want us all to start playing a bigger role and step into our leadership positions and start to build confidence as leaders, not just as doers, but as leaders. So if you get a message from me, the answer will not be no. I will not be told no. You're going to do it, and you're going to love me for it. I promise. Okay, so I want to go back to something that we used to do, and we kind of fell off because our team went through a little bit of a dry spell, and I felt like it wasn't valuable anymore. But we used to do what did I call it back in the day, like a year or two ago? It was like the Glam Squad. I don't know. I just gave a shout out to one person on the team, but I've been also thinking about how important it is for recognition and for you guys to feel validated and special and to be seen in the work that you're doing. So I'm going to reinstate this weekly shout out of one person on the team. Every week it's going to be somebody different. It's going to be somebody that I see doing the things that we are supposed to be doing, living the mission, getting the sales, recruiting, showing up on lives. It's somebody that is constantly evolving and growing in their business, and we're going to call it the Glam Squad MVP. Now, what does MVP mean? Most valuable player? Does that mean that, like, just because they get the MVP that you can't be the MVP? That is scarcity mindset. I want you to attach to this idea of the MVP in a way that motivates you to get on it, right? Not as a discouraging thing, but as a motivator. I want you to be motivated, and I want you to feel validated by getting on that list. Some people are motivated by recognition, and I want to respect that, and I want to do that. So as we reinstate this part of our team call, the MVP for this week is going to be none other than Holly Fryer. If I'm going to take it back, yes, girl, yes, because that bitch slays. Okay, she has $75,000 in lifetime sales already. She's currently sitting at over $2,700 for the month. She has started recruiting like a boss. She recruited over 7 people in 1 month 2 months ago, and she just earned Unified last month. So if there's anybody that I can think of that's been around for a while that deserves a shout out that might not have gotten one in a little bit, it's Holly, because she is truly living the mission. And this is what I want to say about Holly. My only regret with Holly is that I couldn't recruit her faster, because it took me 2 years to get her to say yes. So you might be having people in your potentials list that keep giving you the no because they're not ready. That is not a no to you. That's a not yet. All right, so I don't want you to forget that a no doesn't mean no. It just means that they need more time and they need more exposure to give you a yes. And Holly is a freaking beast on the team. And my favorite thing that Holly does, my absolute favorite thing that Holly does, is she is a cheerleader. She will cheer for each and every single one of you. She will show up on your lives. She'll talk to you. She'll send shout outs. If you get a promotion, Holly's all about it. She is the biggest cheerleader. And when I think about what an MVP is, more than sales, more than recruits, more than promotions, it's somebody that's uplifting and validating and empowering those around them, whether they're on their team or not. So I know some of you guys have been directly impacted by Holly's beautiful personality, and I just wanted to take a little bit to honor her and like say how proud I am. This team would not be what it is without her, and I'm so super fucking proud of you. That's it. Yep. And I'm gonna start crying.
I was gonna say I'm glad it's dark because You're gonna make me cry.
My eyes are watering because watching you grow into the leader that you're
Right,
starting to become, watching you start to speak at other trainings, like knowing where you came from and knowing you before this business and watching you bloom has been my truest and greatest pleasure. And I'm so freaking proud of you.
Thank you for
All right,
pushing me along
so
the way.
MVP. Every week there's going to be an MVP. Somebody's going to get a shout out. You're going to get lots of love. And I just want you guys to know, I want to be a team that cheers for each other. And when I thought about what an MVP was, that was the number one criteria, is being somebody as a woman. We learned early on how to be catty. We learned early on how to compete with each other. What we're learning now as grown-ups, as women, is how to support one another and realize that there's room for each of us at the top. And that's what I imagine an MVP to be. Somebody that leads from the front and includes everyone. And Holly truly lives that. And I love you, girl.
Love you.
Love you guys.
So now that I got through the emotional part of this team call, it's time to get into the nitty-gritty. So you guys have heard me say before, confidence is a learned behavior. Confidence is something that you learn with consistent action over and over and over again. You develop confidence in anything by learning, by trying it, by failing, by coming back. And as I've been thinking about this team call, what I realized is that quitting is also a learned behavior. And I'll give you some very specific examples of my own life where I learned that quitting was okay. First of all, I dropped out of high school. And nobody gave me shit about it. Like, my guidance counselor gave me more shit than anybody in my family, okay? So as a teenager, I learned that quitting didn't hurt as bad as going and following through. When I was in the Army, I didn't graduate basic training in AIT. I had to take an alternative PT test because I couldn't pass the PT test. So I didn't get to walk the stage. That essentially is a little bit like a quit or a failure, right? And then I learned that I could quit anything I wanted. And I started quitting on myself. I started quitting on my diets. I started quitting on my goals. I started quitting on my dreams and my aspirations because I realized that many times quitting is the easier and like more feel-good answer than following through, than continuing to show up. And so I want to talk about that quitting mindset so that we can stop that behavior at the bud, like, so we can start to nip it in the bud so that quitting is no longer an option to us, right? We want it to become our goals to be non-negotiable. We want our dreams and our desires to become something that we do not bail on. You set these goals, now let's see it through. So quitting cannot be an option any longer. And one of the things that I've noticed about this business is because most of us approach it from this hobbyist mentality. I'm just going to do this on the side. I'm just going to make a little bit of money. We talk ourselves out of true commitment because it's just a little side gig. So if it fails, no big deal. I still got my other job. I still got my big career. I still got whatever I'm doing for my 9 to 5. I've still got my normal income. So when we think about it, we talk ourselves out of our commitment, right? But you signed a contract. This is your business. It could be anything you want it to be. And when we say that quitting is a learned behavior, it's all in your head, right? It's our rationale that we're going through over and over in our mind. And here's a big kicker for you guys. You cannot win the war against the world if you cannot win the war in your own mind. Okay? We're all fighting battles. We all have people that run interference, they distract us, they look down on us, they tell us that we're not good enough. You cannot win any of those battles if you can't first win the battle in your own mind. Because you're just going to prove them right. You're just going to quit. You're just going to fail and walk away. And that's really the only failure, is walking away. Quitting is truly the only actual failure. Okay? And so we talk ourselves out of following through because we insert what I call roadblocks or speed bumps. And we say things like, oh, my husband's not supportive, or oh, I work a full-time job and I don't really have that much time, or I'm a stay-at-home mom and I've got 4 kids and they just take, I just have to give so much to them. And we start putting in all of these reasons why we can't be successful. Your circumstances do not determine your success. Your decisions do. Your decisions are the make or break game in winning or losing, because I have been around in this business now for almost 5 years. And there were so many times that I could have quit. I just looked it up. The amount of time that I stalled at green status was over 1,000 hours. 1,000 hours, 1.4 million minutes I was at green status. 1.4 million opportunities for me to talk myself out of this business. 1.4 million opportunities for me to walk away and say, that's not for me. Okay? But what kept me going was the belief that I knew deep down in my core that I could do this business if I could just learn enough. I just needed to learn more. And yet is the most powerful word in your vocabulary. Yet means that you just haven't figured it out. Yet means that you still got things to learn. Yet means that the timing isn't right. So I want you to install a yet mindset for all of your goals. Yes, you haven't hit green yet. Yes, you haven't hit blue yet. Yes, you haven't recruited anybody yet. Yet. Think about it. It is such a powerful word, and it inspires you to keep showing up each day knowing that yet could be tomorrow. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
But as I pushed through all of these minutes and all of these hours in what I could have considered a failure, I watched other presenters who were above me fall away. I watched other presenters higher status that I thought that they were like doing better than me. They quit their business. They went to something else. I watched left and right as what I would consider good leaders left this business. And I just stayed the course. And then do you know what happened? We hit orange in November and purple in March. Of course you know what happened because you were there and you celebrated with me. I don't need to tell you what happened. But there was that 3-year lull where I was in this desert wasteland, not feeling like I was growing at all. And the only thing I could tie into was my belief that this one time, no matter what, I dropped out of college, I didn't graduate from the Army, all the times that I had quit on myself, this one time, I was not going to quit. This one time, I was going to keep pushing. I was going to just go at it until I couldn't go anymore, until there was no breath left in my body. When you want success that bad, that's when you'll get it. When you focus on your dreams and your goals that much, when quitting is not an option, that's when you'll start winning. And people look at me now and they're like, oh my God, Marie, you just had all this success. Nah, baby, I did not have that much success. I sat and I waited and I worked and I revamped and I had plan B and I had plan C and I had plan D and I started a podcast and I went to all the conventions and I went to every single freaking training I could get my hands on because I knew that I could learn how to do this business. And this business is not complicated. It's very simple. What we have to do is start believing that we can figure it out. It's just a puzzle, like a little Rubik's Cube, right? Like anybody can solve a Rubik's Cube if you give it enough time and you give it enough focus and you study it enough. This business is just like a Rubik's Cube. So rather than thinking it's impossible and rather thinking that it's not for you, just think that you haven't figured out the combination yet. And that's what kept me moving. That's what kept me going. And so I want you to stop choosing habits that aren't producing results. Habits that aren't producing results. Things like Facebook scrolling, watching other presenters' lives. Habits like, like watching TV and playing games. And am I saying like those things are bad? No. Watching Game of Thrones is not bad. But ask yourself, if watching a fictitious story about kings and queens in an era that never even existed in our time is helping you create the life that you're dreaming of. Because the answer is no, it's not helping you get to where you want to go. It's just a time suck. It's a distraction. And I want you to look for the areas in your life that you have habits that are taking away from your goals, because we all have them. We all have them. I realize, my brother's getting married this month, and I started a scrapbook, and it's really taking way too much time out of my life. And I realized it's a time suck. So I have to keep walking away from it and get back to my business, because if I was letting it be the distraction, I could sit there for hours and hours and hours. And so I have to start managing my time more effectively. Think if any of you guys listen to my podcast, Valentina Ganter, Black Status, talks about how she sets Alexa on 1 hour timers, and she'll say, for this 1 hour I'm going to snuggle my babies, and then for the next hour I'm going to recruit, and then for the next hour I'm going to follow up with my team. And she holds herself to this schedule so that she does not get lost in the time suck of distractions, because we all have them. We all have kids and responsibilities. We all have chores, and we all have jobs, and we all have other things that we could be spending our time on. Why? Because it's easier. We almost choose these things because it's easier than actually doing the work to get successful in this business. Okay? So everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. Okay? Everyone wants to go to heaven, but nobody wants to die. What does that saying mean? It means everybody wants to be Black Status, but nobody wants to do the freaking work. I work my business all the time. I'm thinking about it from the time my eyes wake up until my eyes close. And then sometimes I'm even dreaming about it. Let me tell you, I woke up crying last week because I dreamed that I hit Black Status, and I was standing on the stage with Melanie, and I was so excited, and I woke up and it wasn't real. Look, I'm about to cry right now because it wasn't real. Because that is my dream. I eat, I sleep, I breathe this dream. And it's not just because I want to be Black Status and I want that, like, that title. I know that that is what will give my family financial freedom. I know that that's what's going to give me enough money so that I can give to charities the way that I want to give to charities, so that I can send my kids to college and not say, oh, you got to go to community college because that's all I can afford. Okay? I know that Black Status is what's going to bring my husband home. So yes, that is the goal, but I know what the goal represents, and it's bigger than just getting to stand on stage with Melanie. But it all starts and ends in how I move about my day. So I want to talk about some things that you can do. I wrote down 6 things for how do we make our goals non-negotiable, no matter what your goals are, even if it's just not unique. This transpires across all the things in your life, whether it's unique or whether you got other goals, like maybe you want to be like a writer, or you want to like make photography books. I don't know, whatever your goals are, any goal, this can apply to it. Okay, so the first thing that is super duper important to your goals is setting up your environment to be conducive to your goals. So when, like, I'll give you an example, like when you're working on weight loss, one of the things that they advocate very firmly in weight loss is meal prepping. So on Sunday nights, you set up your entire week's worth of meals so that you're not tempted to cheat throughout the week. So when I say set up your environment, right? What does your work environment look like? Is your office or your makeup studio a complete disaster that looks like a tornado went through it? Nobody wants to go in there and be productive. Your brain is going to immediately start looking around at all the mess and get distracted by the mess, and it's going to be unmotivating work environment. So set up your work environment in a way that helps you get to work. I was listening to Rachel Hollis. You guys know she wrote Girl Wash Your Face and Girl Stop Apologizing. And she said that her best place to write her book, she's written 5 books, is at a cafe. because there's no distractions. So look for the places in your life where you could be the most productive, and carve that time out to be in that place. You got to get in the zone. So you got to set up your work environment to be conducive to productivity. All right. And if there are things weighing you down, such as a cluttered desk, start there. Clean up your environment and set it up so that you can be more effective. Go get those Post-its, go get those colored pens and highlighters if you need to, whatever it is to make your work environment the most productive work environment possible. So that when you step into that space, maybe you surround yourself with plants and positive quotes. I've got several positive quotes hanging in my office because it helps me get my mind into the right space. All right. So set up your space to be inviting and feeling productive, and a place that you can actually do some work. So if you're on a little, if you're sitting in your sink and doing your makeup sitting in your sink, like we all know Jennifer Hagemeyer did for the first year that she was in this business, you might want to expand it out a little bit and give yourself at least a partial dining room table or something. Create a space that's just for you to do your business. All right. Another thing is that you want to surround yourself with like-minded people. First and foremost, showing up for this team call. It's great. I'm so proud of you guys for showing up every week. It's a testament to the fact that you want to grow your business, but also knowing that not everyone in your life is going to serve your goals. And there are people that are time suckers. There are people that are toxic. There are people that are going to come into your path that just want to take, and they never want to give back. And it's your job to guard your time. Watch out for the time suckers, the energy vampires, whatever you want to call them, and don't be scared to say no to family or to friends. Guard your relationships. Look for people that are like-minded. Look for people on the come up. Look for cycle breakers. Look for people like me that are always Shanna. God, I wanted to just hug you today when she posted this thing about always be the light that never turns off or something, and then she tagged me and she's like, Marie, you're always like that. And I was like, thank you. I want to be that light to people. But you have to look for those lights, because not everybody is a light. Sometimes they're a train coming to blow, just run you over. All right. So be mindful of the people you surround yourself with. They always say that you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So I, at this point, should be a dog because I spend most of my time with my dog. Okay. Develop systems to identify self-sabotage. So we all self-sabotage. It's a very normal thing, especially when we're going through hard things or when we know that the task ahead is going to be challenging. We self-sabotage. We do it in all kinds of different ways. But your job as a leader and as someone growing their business is to identify your patterns in behavior so that you can identify the ways that you're self-sabotaging. Example. I know that I'm on this weight loss journey, right? I'm trying to get fit. I got my brother's wedding coming up. I'm trying to look good in Vegas. I self-sabotage with alcohol, but not the alcohol that self-sabotages. It's what I eat after I've had 3 drinks. It's the nachos. It's the French fries. It's the cheating that it lowers my willpower. It makes me feel good for the moment. But then, so now I know that when I drink, I need to make sure that there's no snacks at the house. Because that's a way that I self-sabotage. I know that is one of my triggers, right? I know when I drink, I am more willing to eat things that I shouldn't. That's something I've learned about myself. I eat things that I'm not supposed to after I drink. Fine. Now that I've learned that about myself, now I make sure that I don't have any snacks around when I'm drinking so that I have no choice. Now, what are the other areas in your business that are just like that? Because the principle is the same, even if the example is different. So let's say you want to work on recruiting. And instead of actually getting in your messenger, you're going to go back and rewrite all of your notes that you took in this recruiting video that you watched a year ago. And so now you're just spending time rewriting your notes and highlighting it out. That is not effective use of your time, right? So look for ways that you're choosing things that aren't creating income-producing activities. That's the word I was looking for. Okay. One of the things that I started doing probably 6 months ago was not looking at my phone for the first hour of my day. So I wake up, and what I was doing is the second my eyes open, ding, I'd go grab my phone and I'd start going through my messages, and I'd start looking at my my notifications, and there's probably some drama in there, or somebody posted something stupid, and what you do in the first and the last hour of your day has such a huge impact on your overall morale. So really get to a schedule or some kind of routine in your morning, in your evening, that is the most conducive to helping your mindset. So I've stopped reaching for my phone first thing. I make my coffee. I help my kids get ready for school. I go to the bathroom. I brush my teeth sometimes. But I listen to my personal development. I really try to make that first hour as valuable as possible to refill my cup. Because I know the rest of the day, I'm going to be pouring into everyone else. I'm going to be pouring into you. I'm going to be pouring into my kids. I'm going to be pouring into my job. I'm going to be pouring into my yoga students. And because I know that, my first hour needs to be completely about making me feel good in my space. Right? Recharging my battery. Maybe it includes a workout. Maybe it includes some personal development. Maybe you want to read the Bible. Whatever it is, you need to make a routine, especially in that first 30 to 60 minutes, that sets the tone for your day. And then you want to think about the last hour of your day. What does your routine look like before you go to sleep? Because sleep is one of the #1 reasons why people are unproductive during the day. They're not getting a good quality sleep. So is your evening routine conducive to helping you be a better, stronger, faster version of yourself, right? So you gotta drink your hot tea. Maybe, again, read some personal development. Maybe you're reading a book. Maybe you're journaling. Whatever it is, maybe what my favorite thing to do is sit in bed and chat with my husband a little bit and reconnect and spend some time with him. Chat with my husband, whatever it is. Make sure that your evening, your last hour, is setting you up for good sleep. And another thing that's super duper important, right before you go to sleep, when you guys are laying down, this is something I'd love for you to start practicing right away. When you lay down and you start to close your eyes before you go to sleep, I want you to dream build. Dream build. You're about to go to sleep, and your subconscious is at its most vulnerable to receive the things that you're planting into your mind. So I want you to dream build. I want you to fantasize about those goals that you're setting. I want you to imagine what it would feel like if they were going to come true. I want you to tell the universe that you're ready for abundance and you're ready for success. I want you to show the world that you're complete focused before you go to sleep, and the only thing that's on your mind before you fall asleep is your goals. That's how it starts coming to you. You start by speaking to abundance and to success, and eventually, after speaking to it for long enough, you can start speaking from it. I just got chills.
Yeah.
You start speaking to abundance, and it's going to start speaking back. All right, so as you're going to sleep, when your mind is the most receptive to things being planted, I want you to dream build, right? I want you to think about all of the things that you're trying to manifest in your life, and it's totally gonna transform your life. I got 6 things. We've gone through 4. Yes. So limit negativity. All right, and when I say limit negativity, I don't just mean about those toxic people. I know for a freaking fact that any Facebook video about I don't know, puppies being abused, or babies being drove into the lake, or, like somebody's teenager is missing, because people share that stuff. People share that stuff on Facebook all the time. Politics, religious banter. There's been some laws placed in Alabama right now that's got people all in a tizzy. I know.
What are you making, Sarah?
That kind of stuff negatively impacts my heart, and I have to guard my energy. So I want you to guard your energy too. And I want you to be very specific about limiting the negativity. The second you feel that twinge of like, ugh, walk away. Like the second I see a video and I'm like, oh my God, that's a puppy. Oh, delete. No, I don't even want to watch the whole thing. I don't care if it's a train wreck and I want to see the whole thing. I just walk away. And I specifically go look for other things. My stepson used to do this thing when we would watch scary movies, where after he would watch scary movies, he would watch SpongeBob.
Yeah.
So it was like his way of like kind of like counterbalancing the fear. You got to do the same thing with negativity. The second you've been around someone that's toxic, an energy vampire, the second you've watched a video that did not make your heart feel good and motivate you, you need to immediately turn around and watch SpongeBob, or the personal development equivalent of SpongeBob. You need to counterbalance that negative energy with a positive energy, right? Like don't wallow in negativity, because it's only going to make you feel negative. All right, stay on the positive tip. There's no room for anything else in my life right now. I'm on the come up, and you guys should be too. And then the last thing is, it's kind of along with the limit negativity, is to guard your energy like it's a bank account. So your bank account grows the more you can add into it, but people take it away. And what happens when people are taking your energy from you? Eventually your account's going to go into the negative. Eventually your account's going to be closed. And that's when you become one of those people that are negative Nellies, that their whole world is against them. So imagine your energy was a bank account, right? The more positivity you can add, the higher your number's going to grow. The more negativity you add, the lower it's going to go on the scale. And eventually you're going to go into overdraft, because you're going to have no energy left to give this business. Right? So guard your energy, because it is critical to your success. All right. I love you guys.
Love you.
We tired. All right, it's 9:10. That was not bad. That was 40 minutes. Come on now. Last week we were here for an hour plus. So,
hey Marie, can I add to that?
Yeah, of course you can.
Okay, so, one of the other things that is a habit is anxiety at bed, or as you're filtering through your day, and you become, at least for me, speak for myself, that I get just hit hard by the anxiety and the fear, and I've learned that is a learned behavior too. So I've had to actually self-talk myself so I could go to sleep every night, because I know it's been like expecting the worst, expecting the worst. And for me, I've made all these, like the trips, I've made jumps like I never would have, in spite of my fear and because of my fear. Because I want to combat it. I want what you got, but I have to do what you do to get it. Mm-hmm. So.
That's so good. And I like when I was talking about triggers, as we evolve as human beings, it's important that we look for the triggers. Like I notice like certain kinds of conversations or certain kinds of people draw out certain parts of myself that I don't like. That wounded victim mentality that I used to have as a child that was taken advantage of and treated poorly. Sometimes that little girl is still in there, and I got to watch for the triggers that bring that out, because that's not who I am anymore. I'm not that little wounded girl anymore. I'm a boss bitch. Sorry, baby. Sorry, babies.
You are, we are.
He's got earmuffs on. It's fine. And he's heard me. I'm sure he'll hear me say it again at this point. So it's fine. I am who I am, and that's just the way I roll. So I realize though, when you think about, I want to just say this really quick. I say boss bitch on purpose. I don't say boss babe. I don't say boss lady. I say boss bitch, because this world needs somebody with some aggression. You want to take back your life? You're not just going to be able to dance around it. You're not going to be a babe about it. You got to get dirty. You got to be willing to get grimy. You got to be willing to get in the mud about changing your life. And so when I say boss bitch, it's an empowering statement. It's saying, I'm not going to be anybody's stepping mat anymore. I'm not going to be taken advantage of anymore. I'm going to step into my power, and I'm going to walk with authority in my life. I'm not a victim. And that's why I say it that way. And I know some people, I'm sorry, I have a potty mouth. I hope you're not too offended, but I hope my rationale makes sense. It empowers me to say it that way, to remind myself of who I am on my core values, in my deepest self. And that's a warrior.
Yep.
All right. So I love you guys. Anybody have any questions about this team call? Let's just open it up for questions.
No?
All right. Y'all so quiet tonight. All right. I love you guys so much. Thank you for tuning in to the team call. We will be back at it again next week with a new MVP. So go out there and do something amazing. I will be looking. I will be watching for an MVP.
I have one question.
Oh, yes, Michaela, please.
Okay. All right. So recently, me and my mother have had a conversation about my political posting. And I might be going a little overboard, but I'm not quite sure. A part of me, like, says stick to my guns and like what I believe in and post it, and the people that I want to be around or I want to have as clients will agree with me and be a part of that, and the people that don't, it's fine. But at the same time, I also don't want to alienate the people that are like or will be potential clients at the same time. It's weird, but I was wondering, like, even if someone agrees with your posting, can there be too much of one thing?
Yeah, I think that's a super good question. Thank you for asking that. I think it's important. I think it's a line we all have to walk delicately, because I think that there is a way to share your beliefs without alienating, right? We want to create a place of education and awareness and communication. And so while it's absolutely okay for each and every one of us to have our stances and our beliefs, we want to ask myself if what I'm posting is helping. Right? Like, nobody's political beliefs are usually changed by a Facebook post. I'm not going to read like somebody that supports, a candidate that I'm not fond of. I'm not going to read their propaganda and suddenly like be converted. And that's just not how Facebook works. But at the same time, I do appreciate the need to be an advocate and the need to stand up for rights and not being dismissive, right, to the change that's happening in our society. So what I would encourage any of you to do when it comes to politics, when it comes to religion, is ask if this post is going to create conversation or if it's going to create adversity and more divide. And that's how I would move forward. Like, are you educating people? Are you being dismissive of other people's beliefs, right? Because if we're not seeing each other, then we're not communicating. And everyone that has a differing opinion from you, like, just because they have a different opinion, you don't want to alienate them, right? You want to create a place where everybody can feel seen and heard, and conversation is productive. So that's the best advice that I feel like I could give you, is just to be, make sure that your posts are open to everyone in a way that creates education and conversation. and it's a very slippery slope and a very gray area. I don't post any political stuff on my Facebook page. I don't post any religious stuff on my Facebook page. And this is why. I believe that I want my Facebook page to be a place of light. And I feel like everyone's lives are really crappy. And everything that they're going through can be really sucky. And so when they see my posts, I want them to feel better. I want them to know that when they see me, they're going to get a smile, or they're going to get a little bit of love and a little bit of light into their life. So to me, Facebook is a place where you come for a break, right, from the rest of the world. And so many people are using it as a platform, which is not bad to use it for that. I just want my Facebook page to be a place of love and light. So I choose to stay away from anything that could be considered taboo. Ultimately, though, you got to honor your own journey. And if you're that adamant about it, as long as you're clear about it, why you're standing on that platform, use your voice. That's what we're learning as well as women on this journey, is how to use our voice, right? But it's one thing to shout, it's another thing to be heard. So just remember that too. I love you guys. I hope that helped.
Yeah, no, it definitely did. Thank you.
Good, you're very welcome. All right, my loves. On that note, it is 9:20. I think my hair's officially dry, so I can go to sleep. I love you guys. Have a great night, and I will talk to you on the flip side.